Sam Reed, I tried breakfast at non-breakfast restaurants.
Did you know that you can order breakfast at Buffalo Wild Wings? Well, at most locations you can't, but in certain places with weird hours, restaurants like B-dubs will occasionally include breakfast on the menu. 6 different restaurants that don't typically serve it to see what they offer and whether it's actually worth getting.
Which one?
That don't typically.
Never been to Qdoba. I've never actually been to PF Chang's. I know what it is, but never been there. Jersey Mike's is good. Five Guys is good. It's just expensive. And Arby's is trash, bro. I don't know what people be seeing in Arby's.
Serve it to see what they offer and whether it's actually worth getting. Thanks to ZocDoc for sponsoring this episode. I've actually been trying to find a B-dubs that serves breakfast for a while now, but they're actually more elusive than I thought. Much like the other fast food oddities I cover in my—
Yeah, bro, you have to go to like an airport or something. I've never even seen that.
But with Buffalo Wild Wings, I was able to find a PDF of nutrition facts that specifically mentions breakfast at JFK Airport.
There you go, yeah.
Unfortunately, the Google Maps
Convenience.
listing was updated recently to say that they open at 11 a.m., so there was a solid chance they stopped serving breakfast. I tried calling them multiple times to ask, but no one would answer the phone. But thanks to the help of some of my Instagram followers who are traveling—
The airport B-dubs, they don't have time to breathe. Especially at JFK. Oh my.
confirmed that they were in fact still open before 11 a.m. and serving breakfast.
Ooh, did that
I was
look
able to
good
confirm
or
that they
no?
were in
That
fact
didn't look
still
good.
open.
It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look good at all. Like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it's bad. But bro, that looks a little sad. The tots look crispy though. You got something going there. I feel like the sandwich is killing me, and then the ketchup. The ketchup, in the little cup,
So I made my way to JFK, being careful to choose an airline that flies into Terminal 4 because you
But
can't
went on a
connect
whole flight for this though?
between terminals without leaving security. And at long last, there it was.
Bro, I had to get a whole nother ticket to go back around?
A Buffalo Wild Wings with breakfast. A BWWWB, if you will.
Bro, that's like $300 for you to do this, at least. $200 if you're really skimping. I wonder how much it costs. It's probably so expensive.
I got there around 8:30 a.m. and I was the only non-employee in the
8:30?
restaurant. It's a seat yourself sort of situation, and on the back of the seat yourself sign is the sign that says breakfast available here. They had this little airport patio, which is such a funny concept to me, but when I tried to go sit out there, they shouted at me, so that was cool. So instead, I got a seat by the window overlooking the tarmac. You order using a QR code on the table, and the 3 main breakfast options were an American—
Damn, bro, and that's just the one thing? You don't get a drink? Bro.
breakfast, a breakfast wrap, and a breakfast sandwich. I went with the American breakfast,
$21 for wings? $21 for wings?
which comes with eggs, breakfast meat, and toast. Options for customization were fairly limited. Like, all you could really choose was whether you wanted bacon or sausage. I figured you'd at least be able to choose like what type of toast you wanted or maybe how you wanted your eggs. But I realized that maybe it's possible they're making these with like a carton of egg liquid, in which case it would be pretty difficult to make a sunny side up egg. I really wanted to commit to the bit and order wings as a side, but the smallest number you could get was 10, and it was like
10 wings for $21, bro. That's crazy. Pre-tax.
22 bucks. So I just stuck with the bacon and eggs. In terms of beverages, there weren't a ton of options available. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were lots of alcoholic drinks on the menu, including a mimosa, but just not like what I would consider traditional breakfast beverages like coffee or orange juice. Although I assume
Wow,
they'd
no
have to
coffee?
have orange juice back there in order to make the mimosa, right? I don't know. So I ended up getting a Diet Pepsi,
Oh, what? No coffee, no orange juice?
which felt like a mistake, but I didn't know what else to get. Once the food came out, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that this meal also included tater tots. The bacon
Hey, that doesn't look that bad though. I mean, 20 is crazy either way, but that doesn't look
was
that bad.
super thick cut, which I really like, and I honestly couldn't tell whether these were real eggs or not. Probably made with egg liquid, but definitely higher quality than the powdered egg
Yeah,
stuff you'd find on a hotel
exactly.
breakfast buffet. The toast came with little
Nice.
packets on the side, and there was ketchup for the tater tots, but I'm more of a hot sauce man myself.
Yes, sir.
The bartender brought me out Tabasco, but took the cap with him. Do you guys think that's like an airport security?
What? I would be so offended. We'd fight right there. I'd pounce on him. We'd be throwing down. You just stole my Tabasco cap, brother. This is not, this is temporarily mine. You think I'm gonna come back to you for the lid, or you're gonna let it all get all dry or something? What are we doing?
Thing. Like if I don't have a cap, maybe I'm less likely to take this bottle of Tabasco on a plane with me. I don't know. In terms of quality, everything was actually
You're not getting that on the plane, bro. I don't think you're getting that on the plane.
solid. Keep in mind this did cost $20, but I think the bacon and eggs were just much higher quality than I was expecting. And honestly, so were the tater tots and the toast. Just as a side note, it's impossible for me to take a bite of toast without my mind quoting that scene from Nacho Libre where he's like, "Good toast." Also really, really difficult for me not to say that out loud after someone gives a toast at a wedding. Good toast. I ended up tearing up the second piece of bacon to make sort of a scramble. I'm a huge fan of a good breakfast scramble. All right, so obviously I'm not only interested in what these restaurants have to offer, but the quality as well. So
I'm sorry, there's no way that was good though. Like, I'm sure it's passable as breakfast in a pinch at the airport. There's no way that was good, bro.
Criteria I'm using to judge the breakfasts is simple. Given other options, would I go back to this place for breakfast in the future? Like if I'm flying through JFK in the morning, would I go out of my way to go to Buffalo Wild Wings as opposed to like any of the other restaurants they have that offer breakfast? And I think I'd say yes. I mean, $20 is probably as good as you're gonna find.
Oh, you're gonna spend $20 anyway there, anywhere. Fuck, Starbucks is gonna be like $10 for a small drink. Like, that's gonna be normal. That's just airport.
In an airport for a plated breakfast, non-sandwich category. I would have loved a little more customization or some better breakfast drinks, but at least you know you definitely won't have to wait for a table here. Because
the problem is the accessibility with this one, because you're not gonna always be at the JFK airport or stopping over there, so you can't really depend on it. Like if you're there, sure, grab it. I don't think it's that exciting to like have as occasionally as that to be like, yeah, it's a good place. Like I would just forget about it.
9 times out of 10, it is going to be in an airport, but not always. So for my next stop, I'm headed to Arby's in Front Royal, Virginia.
Wait,
does Arby's normally serve breakfast? We excluded them from the Fast Food Gauntlet Breakfast Edition because our local Arby's doesn't serve it. So I mistakenly assumed that Arby's doesn't serve breakfast anywhere, but some locations do in fact have it. So shout out to Robert who emailed me about this specific location in Front Royal. Despite their Google Maps,
Robert, how do you know that?
Listing saying they open at 10, I called to confirm that they do in fact serve breakfast. Only patron in the establishment, so not super confidence inspiring. Then again, B-Dubs wasn't crowded either, and their breakfast was fine. The breakfast menu at Arby's mostly consisted of breakfast sandwiches.
Honestly, I don't think people go into places like that anymore. I really just don't think so. I think most people are going through the drive-thru. Half the other people are DoorDashing or Uber, whatever, so I just don't think a lot of people walking in.
One wrap on there, and then a sausage gravy biscuit and some French toast sticks. And unlike B-Dubs, they had both coffee and orange juice on the menu. They had some apple turnovers out under a warmer, but those are actually part of the regular menu at locations that don't serve breakfast, so I passed on those. I ended up getting a number 3 combo, so the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit meal, which comes with 2 potato cakes and a coffee. I also kind of panic ordered a sausage gravy biscuit. I don't know why. My food came out on this elliptical tray, but to be honest, maybe that's normal for dine-in orders at Arby's. I don't really eat at Arby's all that often, so I have no idea. I'll have to ask my friend Brinson, who loves Arby's. I would describe the bacon, egg, and cheese as fine. To their credit, the biscuit was really
bro, fine. That's not good.
Soft and flaky. And also to their credit, they gave me an extra potato cake. These were little triangles and they were actually really good. Fluffier than a McDonald's.
It's just potatoes though. It's just potato, bro.
It's hash brown, but still pretty crunchy. I moved on to the sausage biscuit and discovered that they gave me way more gravy than any one man should consume. After I poured it on
Good Lord, do they
biscuit, I still had at least 75% of this cup left. And upon further inspection, it looked like the sausage in the gravy was just cut up patties from the sandwiches as opposed to sausage crumbles made specifically for the gravy. This isn't an item I use.
That's totally Arby's style. Just go around and don't do the right thing
on a super regular basis, and despite tasting good, it was one of those foods that just makes you feel kind of gross and bloated as you're eating it. And to be fair,
yeah, dude, it's not real food. That's why it's all processed.
It's kind of what I signed up for by going to Arby's for breakfast. Overall, this meal felt less greasy than breakfast from McDonald's or Hardee's. So would I go out of my way to get this again? I don't think so. I think if I want this type of food, Hardee's has way more breakfast options that are pretty reliable, even if they are a little greasier. And if we're talking fast food breakfast in general, when given the option between this and Taco Bell breakfast, I would choose Taco Bell 10 times out of 10. As I walked back to my car, I had an epiphany that what I should have done was curly fries for breakfast.
Bro, ew. From that, you got the epiphany? Gross.
Gotta think about what makes Arby's unique. So roast beef and curly fries. And I'm out on roast beef for breakfast, but if you threw curly fries into a breakfast burrito or something, that would have gone so hard. All right, next up, we're headed to get breakfast at Five Guys.
I highly doubt this would be good. I bet it would be very expensive and super subpar, just like the whole place. It's not that good.
This Five Guys is located in Concourse C of the Atlanta airport. There's a big banner hanging up advertising their breakfast, and from the looks of it, their breakfast sandwiches are made with their regular hamburger buns.
Bro, just a straight up burger though? Like, really?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, if you're in Australia or the UK, that would technically make this an egg burger. But to my point about curly fries, I guess the fries from Five Guys are kind of like a stand-in for breakfast potatoes. They have a little panel added to the side of their normal
Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, $11.44, bro, for just the sandwich. Exactly what I thought. $4 for a coffee, bro. Large coffee, but Five Guys. Like, you're not even. This is like diner coffee.
Board with their breakfast options, and you can get a few different types of breakfast sandwiches and even add a burger patty if you want. And then to drink, you can get coffee or orange.
Why would you want to do? I don't like this.
Juice. And it also says that they have cold brew, which is a first for this episode. True to stereotypes about both airports and Five Guys, I would say that the prices were pretty absurd. Like for an
That's first thing I thought.
Egg on their hamburger bun, you're paying $8. I'm guessing that probably costs them like $1 to make, so they're out there selling it at like 700% profit. I ordered a bacon, egg, and cheese, which was $11.44, and I tried to order a cold brew, but she told me
nasty work, bro. 1,000% profit margin.
That they didn't have any lids for their cold brew cups. I didn't know for sure that I was going to finish it before I got on my flight, so I decided to do a fountain drink instead, which they did have lids for. This was definitely an interesting experience. I feel like because it's a bun, mentally I was expecting something hard.
That looks so sad. That looks so sad. Could we not be elegant with breakfast in a quick fashion?
In the middle, but instead you get a thin layer of egg and then the bacon and cheese.
Yeah, it looks like a cop-out of a sandwich.
So at first it just felt like it was mostly bread. But by the time I got to the middle of the sandwich, it had won me over. Still a little bit on the greasy side for my preference, but pretty tasty. And I liked that the cheese was super melty. I think if I were to go back, I would love to try their cold brew, and I'd maybe add a burger patty to the bacon, egg, and cheese to get kind of like a breakfast burger experience. And I'd also love to try the Cajun fries. For some reason, that sounds really good with breakfast. Granted, if I were to order all of that, it would set me back something like
$30, bro, after tax.
$24, which is frankly offensive for breakfast. So would I go out of my way to get this again? I'm a little on the fence, but I'm gonna say probably not. I'd much rather grab a breakfast bowl, which is by far one of the best things at our next stop, Qdoba.
Never been here, so I don't know much about this.
This
3.0, oh good.
Specific Qdoba is located in Concourse B of the Denver airport. If you've watched any of my old videos, I actually went there in a video about the Denver airport like 3 years ago. And even though I'm headed back to yet another airport, I do think that there are non-airport Qdobas that serve breakfast. And this is one of my biggest gripes with the restaurant industry. When I'm trying to find something like a KFC buffet or a Qdoba that serves breakfast, there's no way to search for them. I typically have to find a specific location on Google Maps and either call them.
Bro, there's no way there's not like some website that tracks all of that by now, right?
Or a lot of times I'll go to the reviews, sort by newest, and then search for the thing I'm looking for, like buffet or breakfast. And a lot of times you'll find a review that's like, wish they hadn't gotten rid of the buffet, but if you're lucky, you might find a recent picture that shows that they still have the thing you're looking for. It would be infinitely easier if on the company website where they list all the locations, there was just some sort of filter where you could check a box that says like, serves breakfast or has a buffet. So if you work for a restaurant chain and you're watching this, please make that change. Taco Bell and Qdoba could do that for locations that still serve breakfast, and KFC and Pizza Hut could do that for locations that have buffets.
Bro's trying to change the world. I appreciate it, Sam.
It would be so helpful. Okay, back to the Qdoba in the Denver airport, and this is actually where Mike and I went for breakfast after finishing the Taco Bell 50.
I feel like this one I kind of want to just breeze through. Is that
the day before? And much like their lunch and dinner offerings, their breakfast walk. You can also choose to get chicken instead.
Well, how are you going to go wrong with that though? Like, I mean, they're really not going to mess that up. It just comes down to price with a bowl like that.
Of chorizo. And then to drink, I got a Nantucket Nectar's orange juice. They also had coffee available. And here's the thing, I love breakfast bowls. More restaurants should be doing this.
But he's going to say it's awful.
Taco Bell used to have this little egg and potato breakfast bowl in their tiny little cups, but they got rid of that. And I've argued in the past that they should do one that's the size of their power bowl with eggs, sausage, potatoes, pico, guac, and shredded cheese. But instead of listening to me, they got rid of breakfast at over half of their locations. So that's cool. For this particular bowl, I would say that the quality was good, not great. The eggs seemed like pretty low quality, and the chorizo was—
Bro, that looks so sad. That looks like a Holiday Inn continental bullshit like that. That does not look good.
Wasn't quite as good as I remembered, so maybe the chicken would have been the better choice. I've honestly been sleeping on chicken as a breakfast meat, but I'm finally starting to come around. Although in my opinion, the meat at Qdoba is generally lower quality than the meat at Chipotle. I do think the spicy queso is kind of the
Yeah, it sounds like a Walmart Chipotle. Qdoba.
star of the show here. Even though the quality at Qdoba wasn't necessarily as good as Jersey Mike's, and I'll tell you right off the bat, this is not worth your time.
Oh, dude. Who would think a sub place is going to give you a good breakfast sandwich?
This one is in Concourse A of Washington Dulles, and they have a very limited menu with basically 4 slight variations of the same
Oh, even more expensive. Oh my God. Bro, and the pork one's the cheapest? Is that right?
sandwich served on a
the egg
sub
one's
roll.
cheaper,
When I asked, they told me that pork roll was salami, which did not sound super appetizing for breakfast, so even though it's labeled as a Jersey favorite, I went with the sausage, egg, and cheese. And that was a whopping $15.40. Not a lot of—
Oh my God. $15.40? Huh? $15.40?
great drink options. They have coffee listed on the menu, or I guess you could get something from their refrigerated section, like a Celsius or a smoothie. To be fair, they did use real eggs, but that wasn't enough to make up for how not great the rest of the sandwich was. The sausage felt—
Oh, that was so wet. Oh, that was like soggy.
eggs, but that wasn't enough to make up for how not great—
Bro, $15. Just burn it up, rip it up, and set it on fire. Good Lord. That's so sad.
the rest of the sandwich was. The sausage felt pretty low quality, like the patties that you'd find in a school cafeteria, and just way too much bread. I think it could have benefited from like a hot sauce or an aioli or something. And I assumed that I'd get to walk down the counter and pick stuff like tomatoes to go on it, like you normally do at Jersey Mike's, but they just wrapped it up and handed it to me as is. So would I go out of my way to get Jersey Mike's breakfast in the future? The verdict here is a resounding no. All right, for our final stop, we're headed back to the Atlanta airport, this time to Concourse A to visit PF Chang's.
I just don't think you're gonna cut.
If you watch my video about airport food, I saw this sign and kind of wondered what breakfast at PF Chang's would even be like, so I was excited to finally get to try it. You have to go up an escalator to get to the restaurant, and it wasn't super crowded when I got there around 8:45 a.m.
Oh, no, that place is dead all the time. I'm pretty sure that place is dead all the time.
Breakfast options at PF Chang's were a Mongolian hash, a classic breakfast with eggs, bacon, and potatoes, breakfast—
See, but when you see it with that kind of presentation, you're kind of like 16. I mean, we're sitting down, and it's a whole thing. That's not that bad.
fried rice, and then some breakfast cocktails. I feel like if I was just trying to get breakfast in everyday life, normally I'd order the classic one, but I figured when in Rome, etc., etc. So I ordered the Mongolian hash, and here they do ask you how you want your eggs, so I asked for them sunny side up. And then I also got an orange juice. I gotta hand it to them.
Some water, bro. That looks like an experience, bro. That looks really good for less than $20.
Besides maybe Qdoba, this is probably the best example of extending the style or the theme of the menu to their breakfast offerings. Like the B-Dubs breakfast could have been served anywhere, and the execution of the breakfast sandwiches at Five Guys and Jersey Mike's wasn't really anything to write home about, but this was both super appetizing and distinctively PF Chang's. And I'll preface this by saying that the Mongolian hash was really good, but as I started eating, I realized that it was basically a beef and vegetables dinner entree with some potatoes underneath and an egg on top. At $18.50,
yeah, this not a breakfast.
It's a little pricey, but less than what I paid for at B-Dubs and just as filling. Unfortunately, no knife to cut the—
No way, that was less than what you paid at B-Dubs. That's crazy, bro. I'd do this every time in that situation. Like, we'd never be going back to B-Dubs.
beef, but I'm assuming that's because we were past TSA. I'd be interested in trying the classic breakfast next time, but overall this is definitely something I'd go out of my way to eat in the future. Also, I feel like if you need a quiet place to sit, there are a bunch of benches right outside of PF Chang's.
Yeah,
maybe not the most comfortable.
Super sick video. I love Sam Reed, bro. I've only watched a few of his videos so far, but so good, man.